Hello and welcome back to Thursday Morning with LindaZ. Today I was wondering, I thought I would share with you my thoughts on what do we do with our strips. We have a lot of extra strips. This was a 2¼ inch strip, and I just decided to create almost a ribbon. So it's an encased 2¼ inch strip. Who doesn't have a room full of strips at home? And so we're going to use this strip and create a really pretty embellishment around my napkin here. And I've got some white fabric. I'm going to embellish it with this yellow, and it's just going to be really fun. A great way to use up our scraps. So come on over and let's go to town here. Okay, so here on my cutting board, I have two squares of white fabric. They are wrong sides together, so pretty sides on the outside. They are 18 inches by 18 inches. So that's a really great size for a napkin, I think. Might be too big for some people, but it's a great, if you get a ½ yard of fabric, you can make you can make one napkin with the ½ yard, and you'll have a little bit of leftover of your fabrics. And then this is actually two strips of 2¼ inch of fabric, and I've sewn them together here. You can see how I've got my seam line here sewing two strips together. So it takes about two strips and then ½ yard of fabric to make this one napkin. So here, I just wanted to show you before we head over to the machine how I've pinned this with the ribbon here that I've made, or the encased strip. So I've sewn it together with 1/4 seam and then pulled it right side out. So wrong sides together, folded, hot dog style, all the length of this entire strip, a seam of 1/4 inch along the side. And then I use this handy dandy safety pin, but you could use other turning tools that you want, but this is kind of what I had on here. And so I just pushed it through, and then I pressed it flat, and I'm putting my seam then towards the inside, and I'm laying half on, half off of the fabric with that seam, and I'm pinning. So I thought, I could use the clips that I have a ton of right here, but it's easier because this is actually hanging over the edge, and I'm going to top stitch along the edge here. It's easier to pin it a little bit here. So that's how I've prepared my project, and this is going to be pretty fun. By the time we get to the end, I'm not sure how I'm going to overlap them, but we'll figure that out when we get there. So come on over and let's head over to the machine. So this Bernina 770 is beautiful. You have 10 inches from the needle all the way over here to the throat. We've turned down the lighting, but it's got a lot stronger lighting than this if you want to. You've got your knobs here for your stitch width, your stitch length, your needle position here, the speed dial, your start and stop button, your presser foot lifter, your thread cutter, your reverse button here, your needle up, needle down. And then these are your pattern start and pattern end, and this is your knotting button here to knot. So you've got all the decorative stitches. I mean, so many things that are in this machine. It's a wonderful, wonderful machine. I've got the 97D foot on, and I am going to engage my dual feed there, which makes it a walking foot on the top, and it will then feed my fabric very, very nicely through. So my needle is in the center of the foot, or it's in that opening of the foot there. So I want to be able to top stitch. So I think there's a line that's just in from the edge, and I'm going to run that line along the edge of this seam line of the fabric here. So let's bring my foot down and set that up. Pull my pin out. And then, I'm set up at 2½ inch straight stitch seam allowance, with the straight stitch length. So let's go ahead and we can back stitch a couple stitches and then go right on. So you can see there is a little line right there, and that's what I'm running this along here. So I'm going to go all the way to the edge, and you can see I've still got some fabric that's left over because I'm going to need to have some extra when I finally bring the entire strip around to enclose it. I'm going to need some extra fabric, so I've left some left over, and I'm going to stop here on the edge before the 1/4 inch, right at 1/4 inch before the edge. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm stitching with white thread here. I'm going to stop here at 1/4 inch before the edge. And I'm going to reverse a hair and go back and then cut that. I'll lift that up. And then now we're going to flip that over to the back. So I want to take that 1/4 inch and I want to fold this over and then down. And I want to get that fold under a little bit. I'm going to bring my handy dandy tool, which is my By Annie tool here. This is a great tool. We love this tool. And I'm going to help it through a little bit because it is right there at the edge. There we go. Because there is a lot of thickness there. So now we can go all along the edge. I kind of want to pin this like I had the other one pinned. Same halfway point across the whole napkin. So we're going to do that for all of the 4 corners, what we did earlier. I lost audio there for a couple seconds, so just wanted to show you that I cut 1/2 inch beyond this butterfly because I wanted to put this butterfly, keep this butterfly in my project. So I overlapped the piece that I folded before underneath there, and I've got, so you can see it underneath there, the fold, and I've got this butterfly fold on top, and I was about to stitch it down to close the gap because it's been stitched here and up here, beyond it up here behind. So I'm going to close everything and stitch it down like this. And I have my tool because this is going to be some major thickness here that we're going to go through, but it should be just fine. My Bernina can handle anything like this very well. Okay, so then we just backtrack and scissor cut. All right, so that is ready for the next step. So let's go back over to the other camera here. So this is what it looks like before we start flipping it. Let me trim my scissors, trim my threads. I want to bring everything to this side. Now I can use my clips. Looks like that would be fine to use my clips here. So what I'm trying to create is a biased corner here. Let me do this corner also. And clip it. So we're going to top stitch this down after this, just getting it all ready to go here. So I'm just finger pressing this down as I go, and then I'll just make sure that that those corners match up when I get to those corners. All right, so let's start just above my overlap here. So let's go back over to the machine, and we're going to stitch one more row of top stitching along the inside of my strip. So here we are, lowering the foot, getting ready. This will be that same straight stitch all along the edge there. Just want to make sure that as I go over this overlapped section, that everything is tucked in the way it should be. Okay, that looks good. Oh, remove my clip as I go. I'm going to stop at the corner and pivot. My needle is down so I can pivot. And then I just go along the next side and I do that all the way around. Reminds you that maybe if I had pressed this, this would be easier to fold over. Just a nice pressing along the edge here to keep that white fabric folded behind what I'm calling the embellishment here. So here, let's just go along this last. So that dual feed is what's helping feed through. So the built-in walking foot is what is helping this feed through beautifully on this project. And I just love it. Here we go. We are at the end, at the hallelujah moment. Let's just overlap that a little bit. And scissor cut. All right. So why don't we have a look at that close up here? Trim our threads. Why don't I do a little pressing? I'm going to press it first. So here I am over at the Laura Star iron, which is the best iron for the steam. And I'm going to steam out my project here, flatten out everything. I should have done this before I actually did my top stitching, but it's fine. It looks really great. Got my 2-layered napkins. And if I then press the back, I feel like I powered through the project. I could have been a little bit slower and a little bit more meticulous, but it looks pretty good. Why don't we show it here, my finished napkin, and we could actually fold it as you would for the table, and look how pretty that looks. Folded. Our napkin, our project is finished. So here you have it, a perfect spring project for a very nice napkin that you can bring to work. Why not? Just don't have spaghetti and meatballs because you'd be having to wash it pretty quickly. But then again, I think you should use even the best linens should be used in home. And I just think this is a very cute project. And just look at how easy it was to go through all of the thicknesses, all the layers on this Bernina. We have some of these Kaffe Fassett Bernina 770s in stock. So in this particular machine, the 770 Kaffe Fassett, you get so much more than just the machine. We actually have a package where we're actually throwing in for free an embroidery unit. So you could do some embroidery or quilting in the hoop, as we call it. You can make your labels on that. That would be a free option that comes with it. You have Kaffe Fassett designs that are built into this machine. And then you have also some Kaffe Fassett embroidery designs. So you've got decorative stitches that are designed by Kaffe Fassett, and you have embroidery stitches that are designs that would come with this machine. So if you're hesitating at all, this would be really the time to jump on over to our store and come and get one of these machines. They're wonderful. But any Bernina would go through this. It's a wonderful machine. That dual feed, of course, was what helped us get through the project as well. All of the different layers. So just thought the little butterflies on the spring project would be fun to show you all. And have a wonderful day.